when you get over that 1,000 units, I mean, it's kind of like, uh, it's kind of like in the Midwest, you're in like, it's like, how much more market share can you take? Like, even when we were closing 1,000 houses with like 20 agents, 25 or whatever. And then, number one in Kansas for 10 years, ranked ninth to 12th in the nation, and homes sold, like, and all of the nation, right? It's like that to me, that's really what is going to, answer your question when you ask that, because that is going to enable you to figure out what you're doing right now. Like, just imagine if you didn't hop on this call and ask me those questions that you asked me, right? And it's like, look how fast I got you two documents that you were like, man, like, where, like, how does this work? And how would you do this? And just through those two documents, it's because when you've already built those systems and they're proven, it just like allowed us to, close 20 to 30 homes week in and week out, without fail, coupled with this new platform to be able to build a new, like residual income piece with leading edge technology without digging into anyone's pocket. I mean, that's amazing. It's like, I wouldn't have gave you those documents before or been able to divulge that stuff with my other coaching company or whatever, or my real estate company would be like, we're not letting that out. But it's like, being able to get our partners in to be able to do what we did is set up our marketing campaigns so that they're predictable and, start consistently generating those leads, specifically the listing appointments, so you can control them. And so hopefully that starts to answer a little bit of your own questions. And then you were talking about the curation of content, and just if people haven't been in the real estate space within like 5 years or something like that, it's like they don't understand the market that we're going back into. And like, you are going to have to pick up the phone and influence people, and you are going to have to articulate yourself with a written word, and hopefully through video using Dub was, the other video stuff that I was talking about with CRM Grow. And then, through the flexible commission, and we don't flex down with this. Value unarticulated is always going to be value unappreciated. Right. Right. But I mean, like, at least in my experience, cost is like rarely an issue in the presence of value. I mean, that's just a matter of fact, and the way that you see how we structure this stuff, it's kind of like, with the assembly line real estate, it's like, yeah, it's like if you sell your home when we have it listed, we'll do it. Some of our partners do 0%, some do 1%, but really it's, being able to provide more value through like the platinum package and charge more. I mean, we have some agents for a long time, Brian Brundage and, a handful of other people would like always get 7% over even a 6% competition with multiple agents. And it's like, you got to be able to first articulate the value, because like, what did I say? Value unarticulated is value that's always going to be unappreciated, right? And then, like, like the best way that I like to tell people this when I'm on stage or, the different conferences I'm at, it's kind of like a steakhouse. Not everybody's looking for the cheapest steak. If I make good money and I'm looking for a different experience, it's like, I'm not taking my girlfriend or wife, or even if it's a special first date, to an Applebee's, am I? No, it's like, I'm going to go to a nicer, higher end steakhouse. And why would I do that? It's because of the experience, right? And the service. And so hold on here. I had to text somebody who was at my house. I'm at my lake house right now for spring break with my son and working out here. But anyways, so, and then, and then how we tier it, I mean, we can get into it, but it's kind of like Pepsi and Coke, right? Like, everybody wants a choice. And when you're talking about the value propositions, to be able to have those, added in is just nice. Is just nice, from the worry-free listing stuff, value stack, the home buyer advantage program value stacked with a lever to leave a guarantee. And then the same thing with the expired stuff. Without a doubt, like, everybody's, hammering through TorchX, your RedX, Vulcan 7, you name it. But I mean, what I'm looking at right now through like thanks.io is postcard stuff. I mean, even this yellow postcard marketing kit that I refer people to, they kill it. Those yellow postcards. I'm looking for a little bit of a more of an AI approach with the sequencing of different ones on different times. But the offline strategy with the QR codes, I think people are slacking with it. I mean, when's the last time you got something or like anything in the mail nice that like we buy houses, express offers, anything. So it's like they're not delivering it to the FISBOs, the expireds, any of that stuff, and the expireds and all that stuff is going to come back, the first of the year. The express offer stuff, I'm generating so many listing leads right now. I don't even have this site up and going. And it's like, I can show you this site. And it's like, I had this thing dialed in where we were getting listing appointments set on our calendar, and it was pretty comparable to our radio ads. It was about $400 a pop for, the listing appointments just to be scheduled on your calendar, being, run, like just from running ads. And so when you're talking about, how much would you pay for a listing appointment? Right. And it's like, you're talking about ISAs, you're talking about Google, Yahoo, Bing, like a long time with the cash conversion cycle following up, all of that stuff. And it's like the 16,000 seller leads I have, I'm going to start hitting them and redirecting them back to that site with an offer, or I'm going to create standalone page. When I told you I was working on some other websites right now through AI Rainmaker with Frank Kern's stuff. But anyways, I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. But being able to even offer something like what Curbio offers. I mean, it's like for a long time, when this company rolled out, obviously I'm in the alpha group, and it's like I knew they were coming. And I really didn't kind of blink no mind, because it's like I'll use my own money, or we'll buy it. Like with express offers, it's like I'm certified. I use their marketing. I know how to work with their investors, but it's like we'll use our own money, our own people, right? But with this right here, if you're hitting some of these other lead sources that need to go traditional listing or whatever, but a good location, but they need a rehab and they don't have the money or whatever, it's like you can literally go in and get an inspection done with these guys and like a full remodel without even putting any money down. And the crazy part is you're not even paying any interest. It's like you pay at closing. I mean, it's like the partnership deal that I got negotiated with them, was phenomenal. And then when I learned that, I went back, and it's like I should have been on some calls today with them, but I've done been on a lot of calls. And when you ask, a lot of people ask me right now, what's one of the one things like I would do if I had a limited budget or focus. This is what I'd be working on. If I already have past clients and I have deals that I'm closing right now, but I don't have any type of like past client referral type of 7 levels of communication program set up, and not investing money back into Raving Fans Club or any of that stuff. This is what I would be doing right here with the Rams program. And Gary and them are actually, kicking off classes, I think, like hopefully this week or whatever. Like it's got to get underway.
Next week.
All right. Awesome. I love hearing that. And so you're talking about teams because what I thought what I was doing when I swiped this program was piecing together something that I had built before that I had sold. And then I happened to find everybody had brought it back into this packet with this guy. And so I was like, man, everything's here. Granted, you're going to make some changes to personalize some stuff to make it, yours or whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about lead generation, and then it turns into efficient follow-up, because it's like when you put a loaf of bread in the oven, and it's like, well, we know when the timer goes off, the bread's not going to get burnt. But then it's like when you got 216 ovens going, it's like, okay, this might be a lot to keep up with. But it's like, when you start talking about 2,500 leads, and it's like they're just sitting there. A lot of agents just think that that's like it's like equity or something in a home, and it's like security because they have the leads sitting in there. And it's like, no, like they have a shelf life. Yeah, older leads are better because of the cash conversion cycle. And then you work in that traffic's down right now. Sales are down 40%. So then you got to go out and get signed up with, OpCity, My Agent Finder, Ideal Agent, like all these different, sources, but then they make you play inside of their algorithm, inside of their dashboard. And then you're talking about, okay, I don't even like keeping up with one CRM, or my agents can't barely keep up one CRM. Now you're having to manage four, three, five. It's like then it's like what gets spawned next is the inside sales piece to that, because the outside piece is obviously going and you got more business than you can stay followed up with, and it's like you're burning loaves of bread, or you're kicking out, like 16 appointments in 2 days, and it's like you're going to have to go hire some buyer agents, right? Or maybe a listing agent to replace yourself so you can start working on your business and focus on the KPIs, and really scaling that valid conversation to appointment rate in a predictable manner. And then it's like at that time, then you got some decisions to make on what type of ISA model you're going to run, and you'll go through a few growth stages and hopefully get to the hybrid one with a safety net that we ended up cracking the code on, and definitely kept me and Mike, what, ninth to 12th in the nation, for the 5 years, 6 years running. And it was off of this hybrid model as a safety net by still building the prospecting team. And then it's like you really, get into herding cats and babysitting when you're running a bunch of buyer agents. And what you just asked me for right there was like what you were working on. That 100-day program that I gave you is like that 100-day like spreadsheet is basically was part of the Jumpstart program without like some of the videos in there, and you'll see certain things and you'll kind of get it. But I mean, that was part of this program right here, was to take, we were generating more business than we could handle, and we needed to jumpstart agents as fast as we could. And then obviously get them to a place where, we're making investments in them for 6, 7, 8 months before, you talk about starting to actually see a return on your investment, and getting them to understand their, key performance indicators, or leading and lagging ones, and all of that stuff. And so, we tagged them with a living, breathing conversion number, how many valid conversations they needed to have before, they were able to get a qualified appointment. I mean, show up confirm rate was 70% on average with tracking this, with the consultations to actually hiring the agent, every three, 4 showing sessions, not homes sold, but showing sessions. They were pinning the house, and then from under contract to close, right around whatever, under 90%. So, I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. But when you're talking about the marketing piece that you and I were getting into, and packaging it through and through with, things that like they're able to sign up for, and we're talking about some of the younger people, or people that's not been in the business that long, and we're seeing this up in Toronto right now. It's like we're like generating leads, and we're giving out more appointments and transfers than the agents can handle. But then it's like they run into a spot where it's like they still got a little bit of time, and yeah, we've looked here, but what's next, right? And so being able to really have like in depth, this is just the front page to one addendum and then one flyer, versus, it being value stacked with something to go through, and they understand, the service that they're signing up for with the beginning and end date, and the players involved, like in the flyers, not the flyers, but the brochures that you see how they get printed out when you were asking me about me and Blake stuff, and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you could even chunk it into videos and use it for a lot of different stuff, not just as a presentation. And just the reality of where we're at right now, when you're talking about your VAs being able to help you out and do stuff. I mean, it's kind of like if you had that VA quit, or you're one staff person that I was using me as an example with an ISA, or are you going to start back from zero? And so it's always easier to keep a fire going, than to start a fire. And so wherever you can get some double coverage at, or some training through VAs and stuff like that's exactly, what I would do when I'm in actual growth mode, if that makes sense. But anyways, that was a lot, like bringing you up to speed of like just a snapshot of like what it was taking for us to close 20 to 30 homes, but I want to cut through all that and get to the quickest way to grow your net income, and the single best way to building an empire without giving up any splits or investing in a franchise, paying me for any coaching today, having to pull out a Visa or MasterCard or any of that stuff. And, also, be able to use the world-class technology with the business solution tools inside the enterprise and some of the things like, I've been touching on that literally allow me to get paid on right under 10,000 closings last year. It was like 9,600. And so that's just astronomical. And that is to partner with us here at Top Agent Experts within the network. But, I would challenge yourself, what type of crappy stuff do you need to, quit focusing on